Welcome YouTube, welcome to the world, once again to the ThousandBasher's channel. My name's Tom Goodman. I am the ThousandBasher, as you already know. As we're now in October, and as the season is pretty much over for me, it is time for my review. I think I've only got about 2 more events to do, and they're not until December, so I've got about 8 weeks left. I've got about 8 weeks break, so we'll get that going. As you can see behind me at the moment is my photographs from the Severn Valley Diesel Gala, taken about a week ago at the time of filming. The date is the 14th of October 2012. You see 50035 Ark Royal in the load hall livery. Not bad, quite nice machine. I did spend a bit of time with it. Anyway, let's get started. But before we do, I'd just like to say that any opinions or any comments that I make, any opinions in this video which you watch, are my own. They're nothing to do with any railway that I visit, any railway that I am part of. They are my own opinions, and the same with locomotive groups, whether it be the DEPG, the 47701 group, or whichever group I'm associated with. These comments are my own. They are not representative of any group or any railway that I am part of. So let's get things started. Again, it's been another mixed year for the diesel hydraulics. We'll start off with D1010. Sadly, D1010 has not had a brilliant year this year again. The curse of the Yeoman nameplates has struck once again. Again with transmission issues. It's actually found itself to be stuck in second converter on the Friday evening of the June mixed traction gala. So it was then pulled out of service for the remainder of the weekend. It was running absolutely beautifully during the day. But as it was making its way back to Lydiard from Minehead, he got himself stuck in the second converter and wouldn't come out again. The driver was actually fighting with it as it came round the corner into Willerton, where the train was, where the locomotive was detached, and it was replaced with the High-Mech D7017. So unfortunately 1010's not had a good year. She celebrates her 50th birthday actually tomorrow, October the 15th. Robert Tiller and a few of the other chaps at Willerton Depot will be are working on it this coming week. They're going to get the transmission issues all sorted out, and hopefully she'll be back in service again for next year. I hope so. There were plans to run a charter, a special train with it for tomorrow, but unfortunately the West Somerset Railway Inspector has taken control of the line and will not allow it. This is a great shame, but I'm hoping that something can be done once 1010 is all fully operational again, back on 2 engines and back on 2 transmissions. Anyways, 1015 is almost complete. The new engine has been completed, the bogie is completed. We're just waiting on the bogie change at Tyseley and Washford Heath, which is where it's going to be based now. The new engine is in. It's been started, it's been checked over, it's been running as we speak. Well, obviously not now, it's 8 o'clock in the evening or something. Anyways, it is provisionally booked, providing the bogie exchange happens soon and the mainline test run can happen soon. It's hoped that the Western can take part in the charter on December the 8th. From Birmingham to Leeds. It's actually class 66 hauled from Bristol Temple Meads. It's due off Bristol at 6:30 in the morning. I will probably be picking it up at Birmingham when the Western comes on. It's going to Leeds with it. It's going out via Crewe, Preston and Lancaster, I believe, and then over to towards Skipton, dropping off at Skipton and Keighley, and then into Leeds. It should be a nice run with it, hopefully, and obviously there will be an update in the new year, or not long after I attend. As for other Westerns, D1013 is still undergoing her restoration. I think, from what I'm aware, the Western Locomotive Association are actually putting bits and pieces back in it, which is a good sign. Still a long way to go with its restoration. D1023 is out of service for the foreseeable with transmission issues, and according to a contact of mine at the NRM, there is no money and no intention to repair it anytime soon. The other Westerns, 1041 Western Prince, is being restored by Matthew Lindley at the East Lancs Railway at Bury. I still haven't got there yet, and it is coming on. I believe the cabs are nearly complete on it, but there's still a long way to go. There's going to be some time before Prince comes back out into service, and like I've said in previous videos, I will be there for that. 1062 is operational at the moment. It's had a few issues during the year. It's seen extended use throughout this season. When the Severn Valley Railway had unfortunate steam locomotive issues, a lot of the diesels were out during July and the early part of August. Almost every day the Western was out, the Warship's been out on many occasions. Not the 37 because it's not been working, and the 50s and the 20s have all been out. All of the operational fleet at the Severn Valley have all been out, or extended running days, which has been quite good. However, I think it was on July the 22nd when 1062 had an issue with the B end power unit, which was sorted out over the summer, over August and early part of September, and now it's got the same problem with the A end, as it was only running on one engine during the Severn Valley Diesel Gala last week. The warships, D821 is looking fantastic. Well, it's looking a little rough around the edges, but it's still performing really well. D832 has had fuel pipe issues, but before then again has worked really well. It's been out of service since the end of July, but I'm hoping that it's nearly finished and nearly sorted out and be back in service again for next season. The final Western which I didn't mention was 1048 Western Lady. I've actually had a bit of correspondence from my contact. Again, this is the same chap who knows a few of the owners. It's coming on, but there's no date on when it's going to be back into service. It's like 1341, and they don't know when they're going to be back in service. It all depends. The Hymex D7017 has been performing fantastically. It did have a turbocharger issue earlier in the season, in August. Had a turbocharger seize. So what the DEPG did was they swapped over two turbos from 7018's power unit over to 7017. These had all been overhauled and ready to go. So as soon as 7018 is ready, it will have the turbochargers from 7017 will be overhauled in time for it to go onto its power unit. There's a possible chance that D7018 could return for August 2013. I know they said that it could return for August 2012, but who knows what could happen. Anyway, D7076 still performing pretty well as far as I can gather. I haven't seen the loco or been with the loco since June 07, so I can't really comment on how it's performing from a personal point of view. So I've not been to the East Lancs, and it hasn't moved, and it hasn't come down since then, which is a shame. I'm hoping to. I do hope to see it again in the not too distant future, possibly the early part of 2013. But it all depends on finances and things like that, and situations. That's the hydraulics all sorted. Onto diesel electrics. As I mentioned, I am now part of the. I'm actually local owners rep for 47701. Some of you may not like that, but I've been offered the chance to become owners rep, and I gladly accepted. You know, I've gotten to know the owners of 701 quite recently and quite well. I consider them to be some of my closest friends, and it's something that I'm enjoying. There will be a few developments with 47701 hopefully within the next couple of months. Again, stay tuned, and all will be revealed in due course. Other 47s I've had this year, I've only had two. That's 47306 at the Bobbin and Wentford, which, as far as I'm aware now, has actually gone in for overhaul and repairs, as 37142 is now back. More about the 37 in a moment. The other 47 I've had is the 1661 North Star, aka 47840. Again, that's like all locomotives. As they get older, you have issues with them. It doesn't matter if they're 40 years old, 45 years old, 50 years old, or even older. You are going to get issues. I haven't done any of the 47s for this year, unfortunately. I didn't get the Mid Norfolk Class 47 Gala, which is a shame. But I have done other Salsa powered machines, including the Peak, as you see there, 45133 from the Midland Railway Centre when it appeared at the Severn Valley the other week, or last week. That was my first ever Peak, and I really enjoyed it. It was fantastic. We had a Thursday evening finale with it, and it was brilliant. I think almost every member of the Peak Army was there in that front coach, and so was I. That front coach behind the Peak, all the way from Bridgnorth to Kidderminster on that Thursday evening. The atmosphere was just fantastic, and I mean really, really fantastic. So we get on to Class 50s. I've done really well for Class 50s this year. Some of you may be aware, I've been trying to do more and haven't had a lot of luck in recent years. But I have now done, in the order that I've done them, I have now done 50042, 50044, 50049, 50031, 50017, 50026 and 50035. Sadly, I missed out on doing 50027 on the 13th of October. This is due to circumstances beyond my control, and due to an unfortunate incident involving a friend and another vehicle. Anyway, Royal Oak, David Cunningham's Royal Oak 50017 is looking, sounding and performing fantastically. 50035 Ark Royal is pretty nice. I do like it very much, and I'm actually hoping to go and do a proper day out with it, on a solo day out with it during 2013 up at the Valley. 5026 again is a very, very nice machine, and again I did it at the Severn Valley. You may have just seen some pictures of it not too far back. It's another nice machine which I really like. I'm hoping to do a day out with 5019 next season before it goes in for some much needed TLC. 50042 has been performing really well. It's had again, like most locomotives, it's had a few issues during the year, but tell me a locomotive that hasn't. Every locomotive has had an issue over this season. Also got reacquainted with the Deltic 22 as it made a visit to the West Somerset Railway for the extraction gala, which was really nice. It was brilliant because you had Eastern region meets Western region. So you had the Deltic meeting with on a Friday with 1010, with 7017, and with 832, with the 47. Yeah, it was brilliant, absolutely brilliant. It also included the return of D6575 33057. It's been out of service for quite some time, and it's now back in. It's not a bad machine. It's just not something I'm. It's a nice machine, but it's not something I would necessarily go out for. There's been a few low issues as well, but before we go into the lows, I'll tell you about the 37142. I'm so pleased to announce and so pleased to tell you all that she is back. She is back, and she is sounding and looking superb. Brian Aston, Dave Pond, and a few others have done a fantastic job of the restoration and the power unit overhaul, which is all helped by some of the chaps from Barrow Hill. It was sounding fantastic, and it's lovely to have it back. It's been a very long 3 years without it. Sadly, it was the only 37 I managed to do this year. Before I go on, this I will say, I will no longer be doing any more trips to the South Devon Railway due to the attitude of some of the staff members there. I will no longer be visiting. I have no reason to. If I want to do a 37, I've got a 37142. If I want to do a 50, I've got 50042 here in Cornwall, or I've got 50017 at the Plym Valley. I've got 50s other places. I don't need the South Devon. If I want to do a 33, I've got 3 I could choose from, just here in the Western region. I don't need any more. Another railway I visited was the Avon Valley. Again, I've never been. They now have a Class 31. It's only my third ever Class 31 I've ever experienced. Because I had one out of the Dartmoor Railway in 2010, as well as 31108 in May 2008. This one is 31130. It was a little bit rough around the edges when I saw it, but the pictures have been put up of it very recently, within the last 24 hours, and it's looking fantastic. There's 50035. Other things, and I was quite impressed with the 31. It really was. It was quite nice. The Avon Valley Road was a lovely little railway. Granted, it's not very long. It's only 3 or 4 miles at the most. But you do get a lot for your money. An all-day ticket cost me, I think it was £6, and you travel all day. It was brilliant. It was absolutely brilliant. The low points for this year, obviously I've already mentioned 1010. Other low points for this year was the I think it's my own personal view. I felt that the West Somerset Late Summer Weekend at the beginning of September was disappointing. It just didn't feel special at all. It didn't feel special to me at all. Don't get me wrong, I've no doubt it probably brought in a few people, but despite both D7017 being out to play and D1661, as well as a pair of Cromptons and the Steam, to me it just didn't feel like a special event. It just felt like an ordinary running day, with a couple of extra diesel turns. But it just didn't feel good to me at all. No doubt it was a great day, and I enjoyed it to a point, but I came away on that Saturday evening thinking that I may have wasted a day. It just didn't feel right. I don't know what it is. I don't know how to explain it, but it just didn't feel like a good event, which is a shame. Also, the Bob and Whitford Railway, as I mentioned in last year's review, I've only got only had 7 diesel running days this year, 2 gala type events, as well as 5 loco days, solo runs. Again, not fantastic. They did actually have a visiting 150 for this year, and the return of 37142 in September. The 150 did bring in the people, but to be honest, the 37 brought in more. The return of the 37 brought something different to the railway, and it brought the people back, which was good. And it's like I said last year, it's like I always say, get a visitor in, or something that has a huge following, and you make your money, and you make your profit. You cover your costs, you make your profit. Well, that's probably it from me. Thank you for watching. Like I said, there will be once more information can be released about 47701, there will be more. I will release more as and when I know it. I will also be providing the Westin powers the Leeds trip in December the 8th. I will do a follow-up video on that. There's still lots of videos from several days out which are still yet to go up. I just haven't had a lot of time to sort them all out and get them up. But I am getting there. A lot of the hydraulic ones are up now. There's still a few of the warship and of the high mech. So a few more of 1062 and 821. And a couple more 1010, but that's it. So thank you all very much for watching. I tried to make it a bit shorter than it was last year. Thank you for watching, and I hope to see some of you at some of the future events that I do, at some of the other railways that I visit. I do intend to get to the East Lancs next year, as well as the Mid-Norfolk and the Midland Railway Centre. I know I've said that in the last 2 years, but it is worth doing. Also, before I go, thank you very much to everybody who I know here, who I've met during this year: James Lyon, Henry Thomas, Mike Abbott, everyone from Bob and Winford who knows me, Cameron Boucher, Ben Harding, Oliver Ridge, Sam Hooper, Patrick Hooper, Brian Aston, Steve Lightfoot, Dave Pond, Dave Thompson, Paul Deacon, Jeremy Blackwell. Thank you all so much. Again, the Severn Valley, Roger Smith, Lynn Jones, Darren Sheldermean, John Kite, Ian Hollis, thank you very, very much for everything that you've done And again, with the West Somerset as well, thank you to everybody there. Thank you to all my friends within the GPG, Bradley Cottrell, Darren Hill, Leroy Ford, Matt Campbell and John Cronin, Neil McCannon, Robert Clegg, Robert Tiller. The list is onward. Gordon Crook, John Tuck, everybody, thank you so much for all your info. It has been vital. And I will see you in the not too distant future. Thank you all very much for watching. This has been the Thousand Basher, Tom Goodman. Have a great time, and like I said, there will be follow-up videos for the other other events that I do to finish off this season. So thank you very much. Enjoy the festivities.